Sounds like stealth mode's over.
Lady down!
If there's one thing World War II movies can't show enough of, it's Nazi failures. And in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Guy Ritchie valiantly depicts a spectacular one. This is his answer to Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, only lighter, and with more jokes about bland German cuisine. Ritchie adapts author Damian Lewis's 2014 tell-all about Winston Churchill's classified execution of Operation Postmaster in 1942, borrowing British war plans for his fictionalized recreation. His clear adoration of espionage story cliches and cheeky wit turns it into a plucky, punchy, and quite entertaining reinterpretation of history that gleefully slaughters Nazis with a skip in its step. World War II gets the red carpet Ritchie treatment, like a history lesson from a cool high school teacher who mainlines gangster movies and spaghetti westerns.
I have a mission I want you to lead. Thank you, Sergeant.
What's the plan?
To neutralize the German U-boats in the North Atlantic.
Based on a true story does some heavy lifting, but not as much as you'd think. Henry Cavill stars as mission leader Gus March Phillips, who is an actual operative for Winston Churchill. Gus is asked to assemble a crack team, which he does in workmanlike montage fashion, and infiltrate the Spanish island of Fernando Po, where a Nazi supply vessel is anchored. That's all true to history, from Churchill's unsanctioned tactics to Gus's nighttime raid, but Ritchie, an instinctual entertainer, can't help letting his imagination run wild from there. Don't expect a dramatic Dunkirkian military thriller. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, brought to life by a cast of righteous killers who treat Nazi eradication like playtime, isn't afraid to be silly or indulge in comic book-like violence. Ritchie seems to want us to experience all the rousing military combat we can in a microcosmic World War II story without any large-scale battlefield action. Gus's cohorts mow down platoons of Nazi soldiers on land, at sea, and everywhere in between. But even as setbacks mount, action interludes always feel earned. Perhaps that's because there's a gratifying spirit to the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, in the way characters whistle while they work, and by work I mean eliminate Hitler's troops. Cavill is somehow both charming and devious while blasting Nazis with unbridled elation. Alan Ritchson is even more fun to watch in combat as the unstoppably vengeful Anders Lassen. The Danish huntsman opts for bladed weapons or his bow and arrow, which this hulking hardbody can shoot with such force that his modified projectiles pierce through first victims for gruesomely satisfying double kills. These are the most ridiculous quirks of Ritchie's Hollywoodized war fantasy, but he does well to ensure his intentions are overt and understood. For instance, Christopher Benstead's score swaps between zippy, swing jazz influence and whistling Italian Western hooks that evoke classic exploitation films.
Door.
Locked.
Maybe that hurts overall tension due to the way that telegraphs how Gus's agents will keep sidestepping danger, but it matters less because Ritchie clearly just wants to spend 2 hours punishing Nazis in creative, explosive ways. Because of this hyper-violence, it's easy to make comparisons between Inglourious Basterds and Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. But at the end of the day, Tarantino has a little more fun with revisionist history, where Ritchie likes to play a little bit tighter to the textbook. Where Ministry can drag, and where Ritchie's ambitions buckle, is during a subplot that involves undercover agents planted in Fernando Po. Babs Alucin-Mokin's unflappable casino manager and Isa Gonzalez's chameleon actress find themselves distracting a local Nazi tyrant, which creates a bounce-about effect in the pacing. Ritchie gets lost in the sweaty palm nature of plans that can't go awry, even though Gonzalez is the queen of performative coolness when pit against Till Schweiger's ruthless German butcher Heinrich Lohr.
Bravo.
If Gus is a 1940s Bond type, Heinrich is the corresponding Bond villain. Ritchie's quicker to fall into espionage cliches in these instances, shoehorning in cat-and-mouse dynamics that contrast poorly with the fun of Gus's commandos going gangbusters. Speaking of that fun, Henry Cavill has wanted to play Bond for a decent amount of time now, and he's tried other espionage roles from Mission Impossible to The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And for my money, I think the closest and best he's ever done is with Guy Ritchie in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And that chemistry does carry over here. They clearly have a shared love of spy fiction, and they both get very excited about it, because I do believe that Guy Ritchie gets the most out of Henry Cavill in these moments. The large ensemble leaves some characters yearning for more definition, although there's hardly a dud in the bunch. Henry Golding's Freddy Froggy Alvarez is introduced as an arsonist demolitions expert who's also a miracle swimmer, intriguing qualities which are largely forgotten afterward. Golding's rendered a plain Jane as other actors take center stage, like Carrie Elwes as decorated British official Gubbins, who devours every line of his command room banter.
The reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive.
At the end of the day, when they're all this effective and passionate about gunning down Nazis, you'd have to fumble the character arcs a lot more to fully waste the potential of this premise.
And so I said, that is not a dog. That is my wife!
It's very good.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is an unmistakably Guy Ritchie take on a sort of true World War II story. Henry Cavill leads a band of merry misbehavers to war against every Nazi in sight, blending spy game thrills with safeties-off action sequences. The overall pacing stumbles slightly when focus shifts between Gus's antics and supporting characters, and the storytelling can be reductively familiar at times, but neither torpedoes the film. Plus, it's never long whenever momentum dips before Alan Ritchson shows up and murders a Nazi.
Where are they now? Same place as these two. Nazi heaven.
Ministry exists almost entirely to dance on their graves, and that's fine. More movies should. You typically know what you're getting from a Guy Ritchie movie, and that's rarely a problem in this ungentlemanly delight. Thanks for watching. For more reviews, check out what we thought of Abigail in The First Omen, and, as always, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you like to watch IGN.
I told you.